Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is part two of our Dear Joy. This time it says, Dear Joy, we have more to say. The first one was, Dear Joy, we had something to say. And now it's, Dear Joy, we have more to say. Now, before I jump in, everyone's saying hi to each other. Hi. Um, I'm sorry. I realized I said a lot of ums. I listened to my last podcast because I know that some information is going to repeat, but not so much that I'm saying everything the same. I had to expand on some things because, I've got this little agenda to keep it all straight in my head. But I wanted to start off with some really cool good news. So during during the season of When Calls the Heart, on Sundays, there's always these tweet fests, and they're amazing. And of course, I'm appealing here to give a voice to the Lucas Bouchard, Chris McNally fans. So it will be centered on him. But I do, anybody's welcome to join and put their 2 cents in. But on Sundays, they do a great job of getting Chris McNally and Lucas Bouchard and one of their fun hashtags to trend. And it was this past weekend, and I saw that the past weekend it was the official day because I always look for special days with things I do at school, and it was Walk on Your Wild Side Day, and the day was set up, if you read the history about it, for people who like to push themselves and try something different and something new and not necessarily be wild. I mean, you can be, but there's that vibe of Lucas Bouchard with his adventurous side. And well, they kind of killed it recently. And Chris McNally with his wild hair, and he likes adventure, real adventure outside. So it was cool, and they did such a great job. Um, everything trended, and I forgot. I think it was Chris McNally was a hashtag that had over 3,000 and something tweets and retweets. And what was really cool is the official hashtag for the day, which was Walk on Your Wild Side. It trended, and at one point it showed you that it trended with Hallmark. They noted it, which is a good thing because ordinarily Hallmark, if they saw it, wouldn't know that there was a link, because then there was the other hashtag that also trended, which was wild for Chris McNally. So it was fun, and it was a great success. And all of you that tweeted, thank you. You did a really good job. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Um, I see a whole bunch of comments here. I'm not going to ignore them. I'm going to start off with some comments in a minute. So I don't know if you joined in, but that was great. There was some confusion on one of the fan pages about what it means to be on Twex, what it means to be on X and tweet. So just entertain for like a hot minute the teacher and me. There are people who don't have an X account for whatever reason. They don't know how to do it or don't want to do it, or there's political reasons for it or whatever. That's fine. But there are people who don't do it because they're afraid to and don't know how, or they say, I'm not good at making edits and doing, like visuals and what. That's not what X is about. You don't have to have a visual in order to get on X. X is a lot of just tweeting and retweeting with words. So if you have the hashtags and you're using the hashtags and you're using them when you comment and you're using them when you repost someone's thing and you can quote and put your own stuff attached to it, that's the good thing. You don't need a visual, but it does help when you have a visual, and you could just hit the little GIF, and there's like a button that just says hit GIF, and it has like these funny search. It has these funny things. Even if you put Chris McNally or Lucas Bouchard in there, some of those things could come up. Yes. Arlene says it was fun to post wild for McNally posts. It was. So if you do that, that's great. Now, there are some people that help out to give a voice. That's what I think how Tanya had worded it. She goes, I'm there to give a voice to those that aren't on X or don't know how to do it. So she always makes this post, and I've shared this with Chris, his management team, when it, every once in a while I send it on, and then, they send it over to Chris for him to see, which is nice. She puts a post, and people can make a comment, and then she will give credit to that person, like say that these are their words. I've done that before too. Christina has. I don't know if anybody else has. I'm just telling you from my own personal experience what I know. And some people have actually, when we first started, given me something and put their initials on it. So I'll put that post up. It's not often I get that. It's rare, but I'll put it up too. Christina will help share. Here's the thing about that. It's straight up, and this is very nice. I'm not saying anything negative. It is straight up still from our personal account, which lets you have a voice, which is nice, but it does not help to get something to trend because it's just the same account that's posting. So it's nice. It's not a bad thing for your voice to get out there, especially if you're not on. But here's why I'm saying this. If that's all that's keeping you back, is you're worried because you don't know what to do, it's so easy. Allow one of us to help you out and show you. I'm not forcing you. I'm just saying if that's all that's allowing you or holding you back, we can help you. And you don't have to make posts like with visuals that you've edited and added. You can just have a good old time sharing words and thoughts. Simple. And just using the proper hashtags. So there'll be more events, more things that are coming. And I came up with another one in the back of my head for next month on the 28th. There's National Foodie Day. Wouldn't that be just cool just for Chris himself being a foodie? And that's what gave me the idea of making a foodie. I'm going to answer I see some of your questions there. Making the idea of a foodie movie. Like Chris is a single dad and he has this food truck and he's feeding the homeless after food truck hours close down, and he puts tables and chairs out there for them, and the councilwoman comes and sees it and says you're in violation, and there's this whole big thing. I just thought that would be fun. That was just a fun post I had made, but I think you'd be great with a foodie movie, right? Alrighty, so people have some questions. Let's see. Mary, this is a good question. Are the quote tweets better than okay, so Mary, everything is good. It's all good. If you're just liking something, that's nice. But here's what helps to get things to trend. In a comment, when you leave one, you say something like you love someone's post. Oh, Mary, this is a great post. I agree with you. That's why I am. And you put the hashtag wow for Chris McNally or whatever the hashtag is. So when you're commenting, you add the hashtags in, and you also can @ Hallmark, and you can @ Chris if you want. And then also when you go and you see a post that you like, when you go to hit it to share it, there's options. And if you hit the option that says quote, that gives you the chance to add what you want and the hashtags and who you want to add it to. So it gets out there again. And then also when you make your own post, if you make your own post. So it all works. Yes, all of it. Yes, Joanne, there were some wild posts. Pretty fun. Yep, they were. Yes, all of it was good. All of it was very good and fun. All right. So that's the good news. And then I mentioned my June 28th, but that's neither here nor there. All right. I wanted to share because this is a chance for you to have a voice, the Chris McNally, Lucas Bouchard fans and their feelings. And I'm going to share some things, and then I'm going to jump in to my thoughts that I wanted to expand on from last week. All right. Avis has something to share. Avis, I was trying to figure out where this came from. Says, hello, I just read where they cut a beautiful Henry scene in season 12 when he finds out he became a grandfather. They said they didn't have room for it, but they had all those useless scenes with Ava. Yes, we've been harping on that. And that poor actress, no disrespect to her, because she's quite a great actress, but just the storyline itself and how they carried it through. So Avis, I didn't see that. That would be cool if you could remember where you saw it. I would like to read it. I keep flashing back and forth, and I'm also under the weather, so I apologize if I'm extra weird. I know that's just a downer. We've said that multiple times. Yep. And Brianna is saying, and yet they had time for Ava and Fever Dreams. And that's the other thing. Fever Dreams and the singing, they just could have orchestrated all of that better. Leaving out the birth of Henry's grandchild to fill the space with filler is so maddening to me. Me too. I would have loved that. That would have been great. I agree with you, ladies. This is Susan. I would have loved to have seen Henry's scene, but they wasted so much screen time on silliness. Some people actually think this is good writing. I started that because I started to talk about that last week and I said I wanted to wait and hold off. So I had said that they were not too bright. And then I said, well, I don't mean that because I said people are going to come for me. Those that are saying it's great writing, it's great, it's great, it's the best best season ever. It is not. I don't care what kind of a fan you are. It is not the best season ever. I know people have opinions, yes, but here's what I would say. Okay, that's your opinion. Now show me all the examples of why you're saying it's the best. Because I could debate you and you go by, telling points, and I can show from all many other seasons things that were better. Okay, so anyway, mistakes that were made that wouldn't have been made. The reason why I was saying that, this is my point. So on one of our fan pages, we have like 50,000 people on it, literally. Like I think it's 48 something or 9 or whatever. And I put something up about When Hope Calls because people kept getting confused in the comments talking about When Hope Calls and thinking it was on Hallmark. And then, no, it's on Great American Channel. And then people are like, no. And they started arguing. And then they started putting wrong information and who was going to be. It was so wrong and mixed up. And people are like, you're mixing things up. That's the kind of people in my mind who don't pay attention, who are not fully invested in the show, that make statements like, oh, this was great. It's either that or you're in love with one particular person and they're getting all kinds of screen time and you really don't care about the show as long as that person's getting screen time. So, yeah. Okay, we're going to call a spade here. That was what I was trying to say the other day about that. Okay. If you're going to make a statement like that, you better be backing it up with all kinds of stuff. No, it's not the best season. Yes. I will see who posted it, but it was from an interview of Joy, a written one, right, Avis? I was trying to find it at the last minute. If you don't find it, I'll figure it out. Okay. And Lillian's like, her favorite season was 4. Now that was good writing. That was a good season. There were many good seasons. All right. It's been very disjointed. There will be beginning of a story, then all of a sudden we are on to a different story. That is my opinion, not good writing. Yes. Okay. So it's going to seem like I'm talking a lot about Nathan, and this is supposed to be giving a voice to the Lucas Chris McNally fans, but we like Nathan too, and we like continuity of the story. And this is going to blend in with Lucas Bouchard and Chris McNally. And we, like I was saying last time, we have opinions, and reason why we have opinions is because we've dedicated our time to this show. We love this show, and many of us are hurt and don't trust that the right thing is going to happen. How many times do we get let down? We're promised a wedding and all of a sudden the wedding doesn't happen. Instead of this 2-second breakup happens. And I love Derek. I love his writing. And he said he was trying his best to be very gentle and keeping all those who love Elizabeth and Lucas together in mind. But whoever hacked up, chopped up, and edited that scene did not do a good job. And why did it have to be so sudden? Why couldn't it have been a gradual thing? What was the hurry to break them up? Why couldn't it have been? But anyway, so it's going to seem like I'm focusing on Nathan, but there's a connection. All right, so here we go. Continuity, yes. Okay, now, if you go and watch season 9, and I made myself watch it, just the first episode, and I remember Kathy being on, my co-host, and saying how beautifully they just opened up season 9 with episode 1, and everybody was in it, and everybody had screen time, and it was meaningful, and it all rolled together. I mean, all of the characters had something magnificent to share that season. And one of the things that I liked was that how they handled Nathan and Elizabeth still being friends. Lucas, such a gentleman and such a self-confident man in his love with Elizabeth, that he didn't mind. He had such trust for her, and they knew each other so well that she didn't even have to open up a letter when he left. She knew what was going to be in it, that he didn't mind her spending time with Nathan. So I remember them saying once that they made the decision that Nathan was not going anywhere. He had a strong storyline. He was injured. How about how they treated him in the storyline of when he was injured? How many people took time to spend with him? How many people, like the new character, even came in, May, to help him out, help him with his horse? Elizabeth helped him with his horse. Lucas sat by his bed to spend time with him and brought him more ice cream. Nathan was in everything. He was there with his snidey remarks and being sarcastic. He asked in that first episode if Elizabeth would talk to Lucas to teach him how to drive because the Mountie service said he had to learn. And she's like, well, I could teach you. Like, there was so much interaction immediately with Elizabeth and Nathan. They shared screen time. Immediately with Lucas and Nathan, they shared screen time. It wasn't cut off where, listen, the message was to the Nathan fans, we love you. We're not going to put your character in a corner. Now, a lot of them were not happy. They didn't like the storyline. They felt like he didn't have much of a storyline. He was on his horse, twirling his gun around, and I shouldn't even be saying that, I guess, on YouTube. You know what I mean? You know, when he was being Mr. Mountie and he had his rifle and he was all, showy and getting the bad guys. That was amazing. There was just so much of Nathan, him finding himself, the funniness with the mustache, his health, his horse's health. I mean, there was even a race between him and Lucas, and Nathan got to win. I mean, there was just so much screen time because he should have had screen time, right? And not the case when Elizabeth broke up with Lucas. It was like when Lucas was shot at death's door in a coma, shot, okay? We had all this telling and no showing. We saw them, around his bed, and then that was it. Nobody was bringing him soup and making sure he was okay. Okay? I mean business when they do that. They didn't handle it correctly. And he's been like kicked to the side, and God forbid if he shares some screen time with Elizabeth or Lucas Bishop or Chris McDowell, his screen time with Aaron or Kevin McGarry, what's going to happen? Oh my God, we can't have that. That is how we feel. Is that how you feel, by the way? Or is it just me? Am I reading this wrong? I want to hear what you have to say. Yes, the kids sent him Goodwill cards with Minnie. We know that. And Minnie sent him something. That was it. Nobody was like, oh, you mean for Nathan? Yes, that's because season 9 showrunner knew how to write a story. You are correct. All of it just was all intertwined. And it doesn't take to episode 10 out of 12 or 11 out of 12 for them to see it. Well, we tried to, but we had too much blah, 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 to the blah, blah time. And we didn't have enough, pages. We had to cut them off. And you know what? Do better. Do better. Do better. Do better. Do better. You need to do better. Okay, I can't live through another season of disjointed storylines. I can't. Now, yes, thank you. Yes, it felt like a personal slant against Lucas and his fans. Thank you. I think they threw Chris and Lucas away. Thank you. It is like Lucas was kicked to the curb. Yes, the season wasn't focused on just a few characters. Thank you. It was absurd that when LJ was sick that Lucas wouldn't be at his and Elizabeth's side as well as Nathan. It was his buddy. Now we never see them. Yep. I will always say Lucas is Jack said personally, without the Mountie uniform. Nathan is the Mountie uniform without a personality similar to Jack's. I'm bad. I want an empty. I want to say empty suit. If they don't have tough and real conversations, there is no acknowledgement or credibility. Elizabeth was never accountable. Lucas never expressed his emotions about the breakup. Elizabeth and Nathan didn't want Lucas back in Hope Valley because it interrupted their romance. Do you remember that? They even showed it. Oh, because they were singing For He's a Jolly Good Fellow, and Nathan was all bent out of shape. It was all about Nathan, once again, feeling insecure, seeing them, have a conversation together with the Ava thing and her walking away from it. Oh, yes, they did change her in a horrible way. They did. They lost our trust. Yes. So we are here expressing our feelings. They're going to hear us, I hope, and they're going to fix this. Okay. So I have more to get with this. Okay. Let's talk about the Mountie. Why do they glorify this Mountie as if he's done all kinds of crazy, great, wonderful things when they don't write the storyline like that? He just shows up at the last minute. I've talked about this on other podcasts before, but it's like fluff. It's like Keystone Cop, the gang that was there. There's nothing there. And they need to change that. They need to make him, and she does say, she being Joy, some things that they're going to change. But here's what they need to change. This is number one. Stop feeding the fire by not allowing them to share screen time, because the fans that don't want to be there, that are listening to rumors because they can't help it, that are listening to behind the scenes rumors, that this just makes it seem more like it's true. Like, it's weird, it's absurd to have a character have no screen time and not be showing up in promos and whatnot, and not to share screen time with his competition character wise. It's strange. It's pathetic. It feels like they need to change the show to At Home with the Grants. Oh, that's another thing. Isn't it great how they're calling them the Grants on social media? The Grants, the Grants, the Grants. And yet, my gosh, I remember somebody saying the Bouchards, that's not his father. They're not married. I was like, oh my God, right? Dear Lord. But they're the Grants. That's all great. You were infuriated by, oh, I no longer recognize Elizabeth. She's a different person. When Lucas was with E, they called Lucas fans names. Now that she's with N, they still call us names. Yep. He constantly needs Bill to bail him out. Elizabeth's character changed. She didn't appear sincere or caring about other community members in Hope Valley, just my opinion. The Mountie action scenes are lame and anticlimactic. They always fall flat. He is like Barney Fife. I bet he has a bullet in his pocket. Bill does more law work. Nathan was hardly in a surge all season. Exactly. They were so dismissive with Lucas's character. They put so much time in developing their love storyline, and they ended it so abruptly. Lucas fans were left with a shock. Margie, they are not going to change their personality, so we have to let go. All right. So now, something interesting. I found it funny when Brian Bird on the Heart to Hearties had to say that N and E, they're not shacking up. That's what he said. And I'm like, okay. He said those words kind of threw me, right? They're not shacking up, but they sure are doing the next best thing that they're allowed to show them to shack up, right? Because I forget, was it Joy who alluded, remind me of this, friends, that alluded, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, right? Yes, and something like that. And then he says, not when she says that, but in an interview, he said they're not shacking up. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you gave the people the idea that they were, because he's there late at night. It's just them. They're having these, yes, Joyce said that. Yep, she did. Okay, I thought so. And then he had to clarify they're not shacking up. Well, they have these fever dreams, which is a nice word for saying sexual dreams. I know people keep harping on it, but how could we not? Because it took up the whole episode. And It was wild. You know what I mean? She did say it. Thank you. And here's the thing. Nathan fans want them to be married. Okay. I want them to be married just so they can stop asking. But here's what I find, other than a wedding and the buildup of the wedding, what would be the difference in the storyline whether they were married or not? It's not like we're going to see intimate bedroom scenes. The only bedroom we ever really saw was it took forever for that too, was Rosemary and Lee. When we first saw it, they weren't in the bed together, they were sick. And then when we finally saw them into bed together, she was pregnant, right? And she was realizing this and wakes them up. So it's not like we see anything like that. They already are a married couple. They eat dinner, they take care of each other, they're in the house together, they attend affairs and everything together. So what would be different? Tell me, if they were married, what would be different? And please don't tell me, oh, well, then they can have a baby. They're not having a baby. They already have little young ones on there. They're not going to have that many more. But honestly, what would be the difference? Yeah, but they're not, Carrie. They're not going to do that. They take forever because of logistic wise. They can only have so much screen time. It's difficult having young little babies on. They've talked about that. But that's the only thing. I mean, do they have indoor plumbing in Hope Valley? I don't know. The writers are showing Ian and down our shoving them down our throats makes us actually finding them annoying. It's true. We know that there was an overnight scene at Tottie's mansion that was cut. They shared a room, but supposedly Nathan slept on the floor. Yeah, they cut that. Thank God. We were told that if Lucas and Elizabeth were married, where could the storyline go? I could think of a multiple of stories. Actually, that's not what they said at first, Susan. And I'm going to share something with that in a little bit. I know, but that's what their fans want. Their fans want them married. I understand, but what will be different? There won't be anything different except the buildup of a wedding. And then the second thing is, a baby kind of thing. But that they're not, that's it. Everything else is as if they are married. So it's like, what new storylines are we going to get with the marriage? And that's why Brian Bird's holding out. He said, hold it out. Elizabeth's last name. Yeah, all right. Big whoopee, Nikki. Yep, they already behave like a married couple. They do. They absolutely do. I mean, it took us a while to see Elizabeth and Lucas kiss. And when they finally kissed, it was amazing. And it was a while for them to hold hands in public because all those things meant a little of something. And then here we are, practically rolling in the hay out there with, rolling between the sheets. Just because the sheets weren't on a bed and on a line doesn't make it okay, because the connotation is there. The hint, the suggestion is there. That's the better word for it. Okay. Alrighty. So this is what Joyce said in the recent interview. And I want you to weigh in heavily in a few minutes. So pay attention. Some changes are going to be made in Hope Valley. There's going to be more of a storyline with Allie and Oliver's friendship. We're going to see them as friends. And I'm like, okay, we're giving them more screen time. All righty. Minnie can grow. I told you that before. We're going to see something with her. And she's going to be taking on things she never knew she could take on. Be a teacher while Elizabeth is, still in Kate Fullerton. Is that where she is? A case for Nathan and Bill to solve. And I'm like, really? Are they really going to solve a case? Or is it going to be them having the conversation back and forth and never really solve the case? Apparently, it has emotional ties to Hope Valley. An event that will activate the entire community spirit. Well, we already talked about this last week, that we better see Edie, and we better see Henry, and we better see Lucas in that community. Okay. But here's what I want you to weigh in on. All right. 73,000 views of the bridge and that amazing kiss. You are right. I'm ready for Allie to go away to college. No more Allie, please. I would hate to be Elizabeth and live with the fact that Lucas was the one who got away. Allie moving away with E and LJ. So how can she be friends with Oliver? They're coming back. They're not going to be gone that long. Joy even said that, and I thought, oh no, more telling us and not showing. She said, because they'll be away. They're gonna somehow, in conversation, let us know time has passed and that they've been there, but they're gonna be back, all that good stuff. So here's the thing with Edie. With first just Lucas. Joy said that David Gray, who's a writer that's working with them, he was pitching a storyline that made everyone like laugh for Lucas. And they laughed, and then they were like, well, it made us laugh at first, but then we thought about it more seriously, and we're like, oh my God, this is perfect. I don't know if I want a storyline that if at first the writers were laughing, what could it be? So I'm curious. I want you to tell me what you do not want to see for Lucas next time. Don't talk about Edie. It's not about Edie. I'm talking about Lucas himself. What storyline could David have that when he pitched it, everyone laughed, and then when they thought about it, they bought into it and said it was perfect? That's scary to me. I feel like, wrong direction again. What would anger you? What would be like, what were they thinking? I don't think it is. Lucas is actually royalty. Okay. Oh, I think that would be great if they did, Nikki. If they did something like that, that makes sense. Okay. That and him helping out with the hospital and the like all of well, not the hospital, like the treatment, because that is very political. If they had a historian that was helping them with historian, both quotes, historian helping them with the history of there's me with all my insulin, then they would know that it's a very political thing and they would have had politics. Okay. I do not want to see Lucas as an incompetent person. Thank you. Governor just wandering around in the dark. Yes, a huge red flag for you. Same for me. I want to see him taken seriously and bring good things for the community. I don't want to see Governor anymore. What could be so hilarious? I was like, oh, what? Because he was good at magic. He's going to take on a magic show, a song and dance show. What in the world cuckoo-ness that they found hilarious and then say it's perfect? He has some hidden talent and he wants to bring it out. I don't feel, Is it because he's really good at improv, the real Chris McNally? So then maybe they have improv night and they start making him do something like that? No, I don't want to see anything like that. Are they just going to put on a Band-Aid on Jack's diagnosis? Margie, that's not about Chris McNally, though. I'm going to talk at great length about that next time, okay? In part 3, which will be my last part. This is just about Chris McNally and Lucas Bouchard and what you wouldn't want to see. How about an airport and Lucas gets his pilot's license? Yeah, right? Because he already has his license to operate the balloon, right? Oh, he will become a rodeo performer. He's good at roping. Okay. Chris has more depth and deserves a storyline where we only see him for 2 minutes in every episode. I want Lucas to buy back the buy back the Queen of Hearts. I don't want him to be disrespected, even with his efforts to improve the healthcare and the education system. The town finally needs to give him respect and gratitude. Lucas in a silent movie, right? They come along and make him an actor, right? And he's in the movies. Oh, he opens up a wine bar. I want to see Lucas move into a big house in a prominent location in Hope Valley and host interesting visitors, perhaps competition with the hotel. No more kids pushing the governor around. Would also like to see Lucas push his health program and get the new clinic built in Hope Valley. So do I, Nikki. I want to see him be a governor. I want to see him do take care of the education and take care of the whole idea. Remember with the train, he said, and healthcare. I like that. I'm just so worried about this whole laugh out loud thing. And we definitely need to see him be working closely with Bill and with Nathan and with the council, because after all, they're the council. He's the governor. They should be interacting on a daily basis, as should Lee. Where's Lee's job? What's he doing? He got sidelined quick last season. And Henry. They should all be together, just like they orchestrated season 9. Episode 1 is beautifully written. They should all sit down and take some major notes. I want to have Lucas have a big win. I have hated every minute of Lucas being an unsuccessful governor who can't get anything done. Let him succeed or quit and go back to the Queen of Hearts. Yep. I agree with you. Okay. There's my notes about it, and I'll be putting the fans' thought here. Okay. Oh, this is what I forgot to say about when I was talking about Nathan. This is what I thought was ironic. When Nathan walks in to he's inside the salon, and he's something with his bandages or doing whatever, and May walks in and she looks at him in the mirror and watches him, and he sees her. Well, they thought that was inappropriate. They are the head of his fan club for Kevin McGarry. They are big Nathan fans, and they didn't like it and thought it was wildly inappropriate. And I said, well, oh my God, you thought that was weird and inappropriate and you weren't liking it? Well, isn't it funny how it was just delicious and amazing when she caught him without any shirt on last season? And wasn't it just delicious and amazing when they were all, rolling between the sheets? Oh boy, people crack me up. That's not being objective. If you're going to have a voice and monopolize them listening to you, you should be objective. You shouldn't be contradicting yourself. All right. This is important. And batten down the hatches for you who don't like this. And that's okay. You can voice it. I do, but you don't, some of you. It is her plan, unless she hears otherwise and changes at the last minute, Joyce, to show that. Wait a minute. She's the word delight. She used a delight. Hold on. I want to get it right when I say this. I noticed that my papers make a lot of sound too when I was watching this the other day. All right. That Lucas will take a chance and open himself up again to love. That is her plan, and to show it in next season. And I was like, oh my God, don't make that a major storyline, because just like Nathan doesn't have a Mountie storyline, it's all about him, what he can bring to the relationship with Elizabeth. They're backing him into a corner, but he is also a Mountie. So you can back yourself up and give him a real storyline. It's not all about Elizabeth. Don't do this with Lucas. Don't make it all about him opening his heart again. Make it subtle, make it little pieces, make it ongoing, because people have to warm up to it. And he is not that quick. They didn't make Nathan quickly jump into a relationship because Elizabeth was the love of his life. Well, so was Elizabeth for Lucas, so much so that he thought he was getting married. And she left him at the train station. Okay. That man's heart is bruised in a big way. And we don't just want to see him suddenly having a grand old time letting loose. Okay. So we need to see just a little, and don't make that the major storyline, because the character has to have more than just a love story. It's not a soap opera. Oy. Okay. All right, let me see what you say here. There were experienced writers from political series, and the storylines they wrote for Governor Bouchard were lame because they didn't write them, I don't think. Sarah, I like that. If he really loves, and will she go with him? What if he has to leave as a Mountie? Nathan needs to be assigned to the Northern Territories, and Allie needs to go with him. Let it be Lucas's last act as governor. Sarah, that's not happening. What if that was inappropriate? What about shirtless, the dream scenes? Yeah, I mentioned it. I got it. It may take all season for Lucas to heal his heart. You can't rush it. You're right. You are right. And Edie's heart is also hurt. It is. I love her. I love Edie. It is. And I want them to be friends. I want them to be friends. And friends who are both feeling something but don't say anything because there are more important things at the time in their life, and they're trying to figure themselves out, and they want to get it right because they've both been hurt, and they want to come together. Like, be smart when you write this. Just I don't know if they can because of what we saw last season. Oh, please, sad to see Derek go. Well, Derek, Martha, is over at When Hope Calls. He's writing over there. Lucas needs a noble cause to showcase his intelligence, creativity, and many other talents before a love story. I agree. I want to see Lucas be successful at something. Sarah, I'm not saying she can't go. I'm remembering that she wouldn't want to leave. You're right. I agree with you, Jan. I knew what you were saying. The slow burn with Lucas and Edie is the best. Yes. I do think that there should be several women after Lucas, and he just isn't on that path. I said that before, right? That he's like like the eligible bachelor. Oh, maybe that would be the funny thing. Like for Charity, he's one of the men that they bachelor, like they auction off or something from A Long Hot Summer. Do you remember? I love that movie when they auction off the girls and they make a little like a basket, and he buys her little tea sandwiches or little tea cakes. You remember that? I would love for a reverse where they were shopping for the guy. That would be fun. That would be fun. Oh, do you hear that? Put that in. But I don't want Lucas like to go on 50,000 dates. It's just that he is a fabulous catch. And I want it to be that he's oblivious, even though he's detail oriented. That would be weird. But when it comes to that, he's just ignoring that, right? He's like running away from that, right? Yes, right? Yes, yes. You love A Long Hot Summer. I got to watch it every year in the spring. And I hear the music, A Long Hot Summer. It makes me think of my mama. It was her favorite movie. Oh, yes. What if Lucas did something with the book wagon that he just dropped? Nah. I don't know. I think they forgot about. I don't even think the new showrunners know about the book wagon unless they really paid attention. So anyway, I don't know. That would be funny and wild, but that wouldn't be a whole season or seasonal arc. I don't know what they're going to do with that, but I'm glad that you shared what you don't want. Yes, Lucas and Edie's relationship needs to be similar to how the books came into it with Elizabeth as such a great buildup. I agree. And I like that. Okay, now we need him to be a governor or something productive, if anything. All right. So I wanted to share real quick. I'm going to do it this way. Some people, and I gave them a voice. If you see weird letters and you can't, it looks like hieroglyphics, it's because my digital eraser makes it look like that. Because although I have permission to share things, and people put these are public. I don't want to share them. All right. So someone was writing, this was about, their feelings about the new season. Let's hope. They were saying, let's hope, because people were saying, we hope that the new showrunner, Joy, would make some really good changes. I'm tired of hearing how they have mistreated the character, meaning Lucas. He's been the punching bag of the show, and we need the Lucas from season 6 to 9 back. I love this. He truly has been the punching bag. He has been the punching bag of the show. People all over the place have taken hits at him. I mean, Lee, even his good friend Lee, Henry's the only one that didn't really take a hit at him. The kids did. The kids did. They were mad at him. Remember when he thought he broke Elizabeth's heart? And just Rosemary. I mean, geez, all over the place. Hi, Christina. All right. So the next one I want to share with you is this. I think that's what all Lucas fans want. Stop trying to force an outlaw. Love this. An outlaw passed on him, and either let him be successful as governor or leave office and go back to what he loves. I would be thrilled to see him smiling and happy back at the Queen of Hearts, where he helped more people than he has since taking office. Speak, preach, tell them you got it. And I'm going to read to you an email too, but not all of it. Yes, Mary's like, get your gloves out, Lucas. Hi, Christina. Cindy says, I wonder if they will have a story related to Edie as a lawyer and have Lucas involved somehow. That would be great, but I don't know why that's so hilarious, right? I hope that would be smart. I don't know what was hilarious. Something that he pitched that everybody thought was that's what I'm sticking to it, okay? I'm sticking to this. We're going to remember this all next season. David Gray pitched something and it made us laugh at first. And then, are you serious? Oh my God. And then after they thought more about it, they're like, that's perfect. So I don't know. I don't know what that is. They're all saying hi to you, Christina. Christina is in the house. All right. So let me share with you. Now, I'm not going to share it. You're going to see my face and me reading. It's long, but I'm going to take out parts. It's very good. And I'm going to ask you questions and you can weigh in for what she says. Okay. So, um, and I'm going to call out, people are going to come for me for this. And I'm sorry, but I am just sharing what many people think. I'm giving voice to many, many people that have said this. Okay. All righty. I got to go back to here. Here we go. This one. In the first place, the love triangle went on way too long. The competition between Lucas and the Mountie was fueled with spite and peppered with hatred between some fans. The Mountie fans planted the thoughts deeply in their minds that any Mountie was honorable and any saloon owner was the embodiment of Satan himself. A saloon owner was unfitting to be married to a sainted school teacher. The very thought of a saloon owner becoming the stepfather to a sainted teacher's son was blasphemous. With Lucas as a saloon owner, his establishment was the den of iniquity. And that's true. They even called her a terrible name. They were saying how the original saloon owner was never sleazy. People went in all the time. I mean, they had church in there. Not church in there. They had school in there. Pastor Frank would be in there playing get card games, and people, even Elizabeth or other people would go on dates to have chili or whatever. So they didn't understand why they went cuckoo over it. And now it's so strange now that Leland and Rosemary Coulter own the saloon. It is fine and family friendly establishment. It really always was a fine and friendly establishment. The saloon owners are now fine and upstanding citizens and ideal parents to their daughter Goldie. Most saloon owners have always been regular and honorable family people. Lucas was a very good man too. And so I know that many of you feel this way, right? Does Chris get to say what they write? I don't know. I do know. Well, Roxanne, even though I know you are a teacher, many teachers are not saints. I didn't write that, Jan. They were calling her the sainted teacher. I didn't write that. This is somebody who wrote into me. Let's see. Does Chris, I don't know, but we know, I talked about this last week, that of course Erin does, because she's the star of the show. So Erin and Kevin McGarry and Bill, Jack, were always pitching stuff and they went with it. That's why I was like, come on, Kevin, say something. Not Kevin. Come on, Chris, say something. I don't know. It depends. It depends upon how receptive the different showrunners are, what their relationships are. I have no idea. I'm not going to speak to that. Okay. Now, I'm going to get down to here. This part, I want to hear from you about this because this is harsh. It's long. Hold on. Now, this is about this one the official fan page. Positive comments about Lucas were not allowed and were deleted. Members were banned from their bias page if they tried to defend Lucas's character when he was unfairly slandered and butchered. They allowed only derogatory and slanderous remarks about Lucas. Lucas fans were never allowed to enjoy and celebrate the beautiful love story of Lucas and Elizabeth on the supposedly official When Calls the Heart fan page. The wonderful father-son bond between Lucas and little Jack was not appreciated for the beautiful bond that it was. Lucas fans had to walk on eggshells and dodge landmines and this biased Mountie fandom. This is the way this group coerced and finally got their way. And I hope they're happy with their efforts. I will have to leave them to their pleasures. I cannot watch the flip because it was utterly and cruelly done. What do you think? I know people have said many of things about this. I think that I have said before that if that's what was the pulse of what they thought the fans wanted was that particular page, and I know they're going to all flip out because I'm talking about them, but if that was the truth. I know many people, I had to ask them to stop, would email me or tell me how their post didn't get approved. And it all had to do with being like a Lucas fan and how much it was slanted and one-sided. I mean, many people. It's a fair comment. I agree. I was kicked out. I left. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she pitched the Fever Dreams, did she? Oh gosh. Chris may not, but Aaron sure does. She pitched the Fever Dreams. It's heartbreaking and so biased. I do agree that that page is highly censored. Okay. All right. Now, this is interesting. I have a few more things, and I'm going to end with one because I'm over time, like I had said before. It's really good. She has a lot to say, but I'm only picking out certain things. This was interesting. After season 10, Erin Krakow stated in an ET interview with Deidre that it was time to give the Kevin McGarry fans their turn. Do you remember this? Yes, she called the actor by name, not the character, Mountie Nathan. And in a New York City interview, and I remember this, Kevin McGarry stated that the majority of the When Calls the Heart fans of the show were happy with the pairing of Elizabeth and Nathan. He stated that being with Mountie Nathan was always the end game for Elizabeth. Kevin said the character of Nathan was created for Elizabeth. And when they came back at him, he goes, "Oh, I feel that way." Like, I think he realized he kind of like maybe misspoke, right? Yeah. So I don't know. And then she says some other funny things, but I want to see what you have to say about that. Did you hear that? Yeah. I did not leave. Okay. But it is very uncomfortable. I love Lucas and Edie. I'm glad. I unfollowed that page. So did I. Let's see. That post is spot on. People were disrespected, and the official page is very biased. I wonder if Brian Bird knows this is going on and if he encourages it or goes along with it. Oh, Kathy, you know this story, Kathy. I shared a personal, private story with you. If you forgot, I will remind you, but I will not share it here. But let me just say, he, he, mm, he does not think that, even though people have written to him, he defends them. He has a very good relationship with them and respects the women who run that page. And that's a good thing. They like each other. So you can't say anything negative because he'll be a defender of them. Why the double standard? Viewership is different from fandom, and when numbers go down, this should be analyzed. You are correct. If it's the group I'm thinking of, they are controlling and rude to their fan base. You are correct. You've heard that. You know it. Jan, I just want to scream. Do you think When Hope Calls takes over the audience from When Calls the Heart, as it is definitely getting a good traction? I hope not, as I like watching both shows and appreciate all the actors. Robin. You did not forget. Okay, Kathy. um, Robin. How do I want to say this? They're different. They're not even the same production company anymore. It is totally different. And I don't know if all When Hope When Calls the Heart fans are going to go over to When Hope Calls. There's a lot of different reasons why. One is the show. This is the Great American Family Channel itself. People have a hard time with it and the politics of it. I don't even want to get into all that, but there's a strong opinion on that channel and that fan base. And I don't know. I don't think so. It's different, but not. It's funny because it's kind of like early When Calls the Heart, right? I'm watching it. I'm watching it. Um, okay, Nikki. It might have been what they thought the fans wanted, but I think they are realizing by their lower numbers that they were wrong. I think that's why they are pushing it so hard. The ship is sinking. Yep. Brian Bird encourages anything that brings in ratings. If that's true, no one told Brian Bird because he was all for Luca Beth until the retcon. No, Arlene, I'm going to talk about that. I remember seeing an interview Chris did with the woman from entertainment, and he seemed very disappointed about the change in the storyline. and apparently caught off guard. He was. He was. I always felt the N fans have been an insult to intelligence. I can't deal with them. You remember too, Jan, right? I remember. I didn't know who Aaron and Kevin, I don't know who Aaron and Kevin can call themselves friends to Chris. Do you stab your good friend in the back to gain for yourself? Nikki, I know you have strong opinions about that, but I don't think that that's the case. I mean, that we don't know why it changed. We can't speak and say that. Then that makes us, I don't know. We don't know that that's true. And they get along and they're fine. We can't speak to that. I think they made a mistake, and I really don't think they thought it through. I was thinking this. This is great, Bella. Hi, Roxanne. Isn't it ironic that the showrunner's name is Joy, but all joy are robbed from Lucas fans watching? Now he's been sidelined and diminished in season 11 and season 12. I mean, yeah. Listen, my 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 goal is for our voice to be heard and to give you all a voice. My goal is not to tear down any humans. I'm not here to tear down Aaron and Kevin or anyone. Um any actor that's on the show. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose is that this is how we feel. We are a large number of people and we need to be heard. So I wanted to point out one thing that I think is extremely important. And I think it is like this message that's in the back of our minds. Okay. Um, Christina, I think that they're going to work on giving him more screen time. How they go about doing it, I don't know. They're so gung ho on developing the relationship of Elizabeth and Nathan that they spent too much time on it, and weren't good storytellers of a longevity or a long arc. You know what I mean? An overall arc. So I hope it gets better. Um, uh, yeah, Cindy, I'm for that. I saw that. When Hope calls, there's a hot looking cowboy who resembles Chris, and his love interest on the show owns a ranch. Interesting. I saw that. I know. I saw that, and I'm all for it, and I can't wait. Yes, Roxanne, you want them to hear us and try to fix it. Yes. Okay. So let me talk about this. This is the person who put this. She actually added, and I am not going to read this. But this is from Brian Bird. This is his letter. She has it copied and pasted word for word. And it was his love letter to the Hearties. And it was on May 16th, 2021. I'm not reading it. I just want to read this part too. Hearties, thank you for your thoughtful responses this week to the season 8 finale. This is perhaps the longest post I've ever made, and I hope you will take the opportunity to read all the way through. Now, I want to tell you that that's the first paragraph to an 11 paragraph love letter that he wrote to the Hearties, okay? Talking about how they went in this direction because it was going to there were many more storylines that they can tell. There was Elizabeth. It says there were new layers we can explore with Elizabeth and Lucas's relationship that we've never seen before. Sometimes it's easy for us to get stuck in a frozen moment in time, like what happened for Hearties in the next to last episode of season 5, or even with the hug scene around the world last season. And this resolution from season 8 may also be like that for many of you, but we all need to realize that as human beings do move on from frozen moments. Oh, and then they went, please. So it all went backwards. Now, if you can find it, it's worth reading. I can publish it for you if you want. Now, here's what I think is so important. When the breakup happens, there was no dating. Elizabeth and Nathan didn't even date. Okay. So never did they even date. So I don't know. There was no breakup. It was just a choice. She chose Lucas. Okay. Now, that big letter he writes because he's so worried about the Nathan fans, and season 9 rolls around. They generously give screen time to all of them together and bonding and healing and moving on. Now we've got Elizabeth, who had this gorgeous scenes with Lucas, where she gets married mad at the town for not believing in him when he gets caught in jail because of Nathan and Bill, especially Bill, thinking he had something to do with, Ponzi schemes or whatever schemes you want to call it with Wyman and all of that stuff. And then she gets mad and is defending him. And then how about the whole part where she says, I love you first. And then they have that scene where she's there with the fresh lemonade and water for him when he comes off of the race, and they say their vows to each other. Okay, we're coming off of a season of that, of a planned wedding, of many, many kisses all over town, from her being the aggressor, even all over the place. Okay, we have a breakup, which was not mutual, which broke Lucas's heart. And do you want to know what we got? We fans got from Brian Bird? That we were drips and drabs. Drips and drabs. Do you remember this? And we didn't get an answer. We got 14 different answers, down to the part where they wanted to shut up everybody and say, well, it's real life challenges and reasons happened, which just fueled the fire of people putting all kinds of terrible suggestions out there of what happened behind the scenes, right? Don't you think that's in the back of your viewers' minds? So you crushed their hopes, and then you do crazy things like we mentioned in my last podcast and this one, and they got a lot of damage control to do. They really do. Oh, they really do. The ENN relationship is already redundant. I hope Joy will include Lucas and Edie's growth for each other. Okay. Our time has come. Oh, yeah, on the watch. I was thinking of that. Yep. Poor Lucas. He didn't even have screen time to grieve. Yep. Dribs and drabs. If you don't like it, don't watch. Oh, and I know, Avis, and I was pretty strong about that in my last podcast. Well, that's where we're going to end, because people want to go watch Chicken Sisters, and it's late, and it's Chicken Sisters is on. All right. The next time we talk, I have a lot to say about how Lucas can be involved in a big major storyline next season, and I hope that they handled this storyline correctly. And can we leave on a funny note? Do you mind? I mean, you could keep commenting. This is funny. I was cleaning out something, and this is a promotional picture. That's me when I was on one of my book tours, because I think you know that I used to be a writer. So this is one of my promotional pictures. This is hilarious, right? And I was like, when I saw that, I started thinking, and that's what gave me the idea to write the story about the dad who has a food truck, right? The single dad with the food truck. And I tweeted, just to be fun and wild, I had AI, I didn't do it, had them make me. This is the movie poster. Chris McNally as Tony in Holding the Line, a single dad who owns a food truck. I thought that was fun. You know what? Maybe I could be like on the sides, an unofficial story whisperer, right? Oh, I look beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. Oh, now everyone, you love it. All right. Are not qualified to determine storylines. He knows what's best for the show. I think you're going to take that back, Teresa. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. All right. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you. All right. Have a good night. See ya.